All right. Hello, everybody. I hope you all are doing well. Let me just get my video capture working here. For some reason, it's not showing up, so just bear with me for 1 minute. There we go. I think that's it. Okay. Hopefully you all can see me. Yeah, it looks like it's good now. For some reason, sometimes I have to switch the camera source like away from the video capture card and then back in order for it to actually work. I'm not sure why that is. Anyway, so I wanted to kind of pick up where we left off last night, but today's stream is going to wind up being quite a bit shorter than yesterday, only because I don't have a lot that I want to accomplish tonight, but I do want to wrap up the feature that we were sort of implementing last night and get things going. So the goal here is to basically fix that feature and get things working and test it out a little bit, and then get it checked in so that you guys have access to that latest code. Granted, you have access to it on the branch, but still. Okay, so what we're going to wind up doing tonight, I've actually, this was bothering me a little bit earlier, so I actually kind of took a look at this on my lunch break during work. And I actually discovered what the source of the bug was. There was actually 2 issues in here. So for some reason, I stupidly put in here barray create and then put split message instead of the actual type, which should be character pointer. That's the type of the array. So I don't think this was the cause of it, but it would definitely mess up potentially the size of that. So I'm not sure. I probably was getting away with it because it was just doing the size of based on what we were passing in, but there's that. And then the real source of the error was actually this guy here. So in our string split method, we've had a bug that I'm surprised hasn't cropped up and bitten us before. So basically, our buffer here was not being initialized to empty. So basically, what was happening was there was nothing but garbage data in here. And our buffer were also not zero terminating at the end of each of these, whenever we find a delimiter, which I suppose we could be doing that. But if we initialize the buffer itself to be all zeros, we don't need to do that because we automatically have termination anyway. So I figure this is probably the safer approach. And so all I did was just initialize that to 0. And that is actually going to fix the bug that we ran into last night. So I think that was, I'm surprised that hasn't cropped up earlier. So anyways, with that, I'm going to go ahead and build, and we'll go ahead and run the application. Oops, I think I did that a little bit too soon. Was that finished building? I might have done that a little bit too soon. Okay, so here is our application. And if you recall last night, we kind of got to the point where we were going to start testing things a little bit, but we were running into some issues with the program basically crashing during console input. And that whole problem with the invalid UTF-8 characters and all that was purely caused by the string split method bugging out on us because we weren't initializing our memory. So always initialize your memory. That is something that I've learned the hard way repeatedly many times. So, all right. So we'll go ahead and just load up some assets here just so we have a little bit easier time viewing what's going on. And we'll go ahead and open our console. And the first thing we'll try is we'll say KVAR print. I think it was all. And that gives us nothing, which lets us know that the command executed correctly, but it doesn't have any KVars to actually print. So before we move on with this, I actually want to get rid of these shift and control and super key presses and stuff like that. So let me actually exit this. And I think that was in input, I believe. Where was that? Here we go. So I am actually going to comment this out because we might want that for debug purposes, but it's kind of annoying for everyday use. So I'm going to comment that out, rebuild, and go ahead and run. And let's try this one more time. So we'll load up some stuff here. We'll go here. So we'll say KVAR print all, right? That gives us nothing, which is what we expect because we haven't created one yet. Now we'll say KVAR create int space. We'll name that test, and we'll set its value to 13. All right. And again, we have no feedback here. We might want to edit that command to go ahead and provide some feedback of some sort. But if we do KVAR, print all one more time, we will now see that we have a test equals 13. So we can see in here that we have successfully created our KVAR int. The test is its name, and the 13 is its value. So one more thing we want to do is KVAR print int, and we'll go ahead and pass that test just to test and see whether or not this function works. And we see here that we get 13. So we've said that we want to print the integer KVAR named test, and that gives us 13. One last thing we'll try is KVAR set int, and we will set that to 69. Did I type that wrong? Oh, I didn't pass the name of it. So that's actually good. It did detect that we only provided one argument where the command actually requires two. So that's actually really good. KVAR set int. We want to set test to 69. Okay, and we see here that 69 was echoed back. So now if we say KVAR print all, we should see test equals 69. So we know that our KVAR system works and is in place now. So we have a method of being able to set and get public variables, and we also can do that now from the console. And the real power of this is going to be able to change some of our settings, like our vsync down here. We could also set something up to be able to toggle that on and off if we set 0 or 1, for example. And so we probably are going to set up a different type of variable for that. Instead of using integers, we'll probably use, I guess we'll call it maybe a flag where we can turn it on or off, or I suppose we could call it a bool. But anyway, we know that our system is in and works. So before we do any of that, let's just do a quick git status here. And we have 3 changes, which is what we expect. So we are already on the feature KVars branch. So we will do a git add star git commit. KVAR bug fixes. And we will get push. Right? And that has now been pushed. So now what we can do is I'll open a new tab here and go to the repo. And we're going to compare and create a pull request. So we have 8 files changed. So we can just take a quick look at that. We have this little bug fix here in our stack. We have our KVAR state here, all of our initialization code, the commenting out of that input handling code, all of our K-string changes, which just changed these all to const, if you remember that. So that was another fix that we put in there. And then the H file is the same thing. And then our KVAR system itself. So here's the implementation of that and the header file for that. Here is our bug fix here. Looks like our auto formatter changed our formatting on us, which I'm fine with. We went ahead and added the minus and equal key handling as well. So we've got that in there. And I guess it looks like it trimmed a space from here, the auto formatter. So that's fine. All right, so we're going to go ahead and say we want to merge that into main. So we're going to create the pull request. And it says review required because anybody that's submitting these, this will ultimately have to be reviewed by me before it can go in. But since I am the owner, I can squash and merge without needing that. So let's go ahead and do that. And I will delete the branch. And now we are good to go. So that is pushed live right now for you guys to go ahead and grab if you want. And I think what I'll go ahead and do is get checkout main and get pull live main. All right, and we have pulled all those files. Okay. All right, so there's a couple things in here that are, shall we say, a little bit annoying in terms of the way that this works. One of those things is that we don't have any form of auto completion in our console. It'd be nice to be able to have that. And we also do not have any sort of command history, right? So a lot of times if you're in a terminal of any kind, let me open up Windows terminal here. Development, Kohi, right? So a lot of times if you are in a terminal like this one, I can say ls or lsa, I don't know, time, I can't think of any commands. dir, I guess, is another one we can use. cd build, what is it? Not cd build, bin, right? And we press the up arrow on this, we can actually see our list, our history list, right? If we go up and down, we can actually see the list or the history of commands that we've actually entered. So that is probably the next thing that I want to go ahead and implement. And as far as that goes, I think the best place to actually handle this, because the console itself really doesn't need to know this. The only place we'd ever care about the history would be the debug console itself, because that's where we want this functionality. That's where we're going to put it. So what we're going to do is in the debug console state itself, I'm going to add something, but I'm going to type def a struct first to say command history entry is what I'll call it, right? And for now, it's simply going to be a string command. Now, we may want to add other metadata to this later, so instead of just using an array of strings, I'm going to use an array of these. That way it's extendable in the future if we ever want that. So what I'll do is I will create another D-array of these history entries, and we'll say history, right? And we'll come down here in our create, and we will say state pointer history equals D array create and the type is going to be command history entry. All right. And then every time we go ahead and execute a command, just before we actually execute it, we're going to add it to the history. So what we'll go ahead and do is we'll say, we'll create a new entry. Okay, and then we'll say entry dot command equals string duplicate, because we want this to live on forever, and we don't want it to be dependent on the life cycle of wherever this string came from, right? So we're going to go ahead and take a copy of that string, and we will then go ahead and darray push, and we will say entry is where we're going to push that, and then the value is going to be the address of entry. Actually, it's just going to be entry, right? And so this is going to say keep history of the keep the command in the history list. Okay. So we have that. Why is this bleating? It's incompatible with type void pointer. Are you just tripping? IntelliSense? What is the real issue here? Let's see. Oh, I put entry twice. Oh, what a dingus. So it should be state pointer history. Derp. Okay. So now we have it added to the history list. All we have to do now is actually go ahead and make it so that we can actually view that. However, there is a little bit something that we're going to have to change. So right now, I think actually it's in our application. We actually have some key mapping changes that we're going to have to make. You know what? We'll come back to that, because we actually need to set up a couple functions to navigate history. So let's do that first, and then we'll come back and change the key bindings. So I'm going to say void debug console navigate. I'll say history navigate. Actually, I'll just say, you know what? I'll say history back. And I'll say history back and history forward. I guess that makes sense. So if we have state pointer, we actually need some sort of counter in here to determine where we are in the array. So we'll call this a we'll say this is an I32 history offset, right? And our history offset, we'll go ahead and set to 0. Now, granted, we are actually starting with 0 for this, but I'm going to explicitly set it to 0 here, so it's super obvious what we're doing. So as we move up and down, that history offset will change. And so what we can do is state pointer history offset equals k max, and we're going to say the max of state pointer history offset minus minus and 0. So basically what that's going to do is it's going to make sure that as we navigate back in the history, that we are never going to go past 0, okay? And so let me think about this. Is this actually... That's actually backwards, because back is actually going to increase the offset, which is going to go further into the array. Is that going to be backwards? Might be. It might be. Okay, so instead, well, let me just finish my thought here, and we'll go from there. So what we can do is we will need to update the text in the entry control, which should just be this, right? So I'm just going to actually take this. And actually, the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a check here on the length. So we're going to say U32 length equals DArray length, and that's going to be state pointer history, right? So we're going to get a count on that, and then say if length is greater than 0, then we will do the thing. Otherwise, we won't. And then we will, so we'll go ahead and get the history offset, and then we'll set the UI text to state pointer history. And then we want the sub, we'll say state pointer history offset, and that's going to be length, I think, minus offset. I think that's going to give us what we want. And then we want the command of that. So as we traverse this, we will be continually setting this text. And what that's going to do is allow us to have a little bit of history here. So I'm still not 100% sure this is correct. In fact, I'm pretty sure this is backwards. So this is going to need to be kmin. And the value it should check against is length. We might also need to subtract 1 from that. Yes. So then we should have length. Because the latest entry is always going to be the last in the array. So if our offset is 0, for example, then we'll have length minus 0 minus 1, which is actually going to be the last number in the array. So we have that. And that's really all we're going to do as far as history goes, right? We're just going to set this text. We're not actually going to enter it or anything. So that is navigating back. Navigating forward, we're going to do the opposite. So again, we're going to do a check to see that the length is greater than 0. This time we will do the kmax. We will be decrementing the history offset, and we will be minimizing that out at 0. And then I believe this should actually be the same thing. So we still are going to want the history length minus history offset minus 1. So that should still wind up being the same thing. All right, so let's take these and expose them in the header file. So debug. Okay. And put these here at the bottom. All right. So now those are there. And now we need to update our key bindings. So that is actually, whoops, that is actually going to be done in the game.c keybinds. Game on key. Was it the key bindings? Or no, we separated that out to a different file. I forgot about that. Okay. So game commands, game keybinds. Yeah, should be game keybinds. Okay. So all the way down here at the bottom, we have our global key map, our testbed key map, and our console specific key map. So the up and down keys are now going to do different things. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to, you know what, I'm just going to grab these and make a copy of them for now. But instead of scrolling using the up and down keys, we're going to use the page up and page down keys for that, right? So we'll do that, and then the history, I think I'm not going to support hold on this. I'm just going to have key up and key down on a key press, right? We're only going to support that. And this is going to be, key up is going to go back in history, so debug, console, history, back. And forward is going to be debug, console, history, forward. Okay? And that's going to be our navigation for that. So let's go ahead and build this real quick and see if we foobarred anything. So we'll go ahead and run. All right, load up some stuff, open up that, and the up and down keys now give us nothing, which is to be expected at this point. Page up and page down also don't seem to be doing anything, so those keybinds are apparently not right. All right, well, let's test the rest of it. So why would that not be, unless page up and page down are for some reason not working? Inputs. Let's see. Why would those not be working? I'm going to put a breakpoint in process key. Let's do that. Okay, so we have page up. So the key that we have here is page up. So that is interesting. So that stuff, it's not going to trigger anything without the console open. So let's open up the console. And we'll go ahead and hit page up here. And we did get the event here. So our map count is 3. So our binding here is key press. Game console on scroll. Really? Game console on scroll. Why did that? Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so that should actually be working. So what is the binding type? So pressed is false. Why would that? Okay. So input process key. This is making me think that maybe there's something wrong in process key. So it's considering it extended. Page up, okay. And pressed. Okay, so what is the message we received? 257, which is going to be, what is that, key up? Yeah. So why is that only picking it up on the key up? What have I missed here? All right, let me go ahead and continue the application real quick, and I'm just going to try this one more time. So I'm going to press down on the key. Pressed is true. Okay, so I must have, I guess, debugged that at the wrong point or something. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so binding is that. So the type matches. Let's see what check modifiers is. So we do not have any modifiers, so we should return true. So the binding callback is done. The key is... oh, okay. Well, this is the bug. Key page up. I knew this was going to bite me. Page down. We probably ought to split this into two separate functions so that we don't have this key detection code in two places. You know what? It's gonna mean a little bit of repeated code here, because this is actually gonna be wrong too. Page up and key page down. All right. So, anyways, that should work. So let me test that, and then I'm gonna refactor that so we don't have those checks in two places, because that's kind of dumb. And also, let's get rid of some of these breakpoints. We don't need those. In fact, I can just get rid of them. Okay. So now we should be able to page up to scroll up, page down to scroll down, and I should be able to enter a command. So if I say KVAR print all, we should get nothing because we haven't actually saved one. So I'll say KVAR create int. We'll call this test, and we'll save it's equal to 13. All right, and now I should be able to hit the up key and have KVAR print all. And I hit the down key, and it is KVAR create int test 13. So I can cycle through those, and it limits itself at those. So I think if I try to create this again, I should get an error because it already exists. But I don't get an error. That's interesting. Oh, it created it twice. That's a bug. That definitely should not have happened. Okay, but our command history works, so yay to that. All right, so that's a bug in our KVAR system. So let's have a look at that. By the way, chat, if you have any questions along the way, feel free to ask them. I will answer them to the best of my ability. All right. So basically what I'm doing right now is I'm just, in case you're just tuning in, I am going through our new KVAR system that we just put in, and sort of debugging, testing things out. And so far it's working pretty reliably, but we have the ability to actually create things more than once, which is kind of dumb. So we probably should not do that. And that is because we are not checking to see if it exists first. So this is going to involve a second loop in create int, but I think that's fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to say if entry name if entry name and string equal I, because we want case insensitive, entry name and then name. Okay, so if we find any of those that are equal, meaning it already exists, then what we're going to do is I'm going to say KVAR a int KVAR named something already exists, and we'll pass along the name, and we will return false because the command has failed at that point. So let's go ahead and build that. And we'll run. Just load some stuff up here. And now I'll say KVAR create int. We'll call it test, and we'll set its value to 13. KVAR print all. So we have it. I'm going to use our history to say KVAR create int test 13 once again. And now we actually get errors. So we get 2 errors. We'll say here that an int KVAR named test already exists, and it failed to create the int KVAR. So that's very useful feedback. And if I go to print all, we see here that we have test is 13. So likewise, I can say, let's do KVAR set int test to 69. Right, and then we can use our history to say print all. Now it's set to 69. We can use our history once again, and then change that value to like 103, and use our history once again to print it, and it works. So yeah, I think that's looking pretty good. Let's see for a second here. Is it just me, or does the stream seem pretty low quality all of a sudden? I don't know if it's just me or not. Hopefully it's just me. I think it's just me. I think my bandwidth was foobar or something for a second. Okay. So I think we're good there. So I'll go ahead and exit this. So now we have command history in place. We have the ability to scroll through. I think I'm going to call this feature done for right now. Because I think, let's see, is there anything else I'm missing? So we had the ability to scroll through the history. The only thing that we can't do, I guess, is sort of edit the text in line. So like if we go into a terminal, and we have, something typed already in here, and we use the left and right arrow keys. We don't have the ability to go through the text like this. We don't have the ability to highlight it, things like that. But I think I'm going to pass on implementing that right now, because what we actually are doing right now is a bit of a hack to get all this stuff to display. In that we're just sort of using a generic UI text control as an entry box. And so what we're going to want is something that's a little bit more robust to handle text entry. That way we can do away with some of these hacks that we've got in place. So, but that's going to be a video for probably sometime very soon when we actually jump into creating our UI system. So let's do a git status. So we've got 4 files modified. I think I'm going to go ahead and put in a PR for this as well, so that you guys will have access to this, because this is kind of another feature as well. Right now we are on main, so I'm going to say git checkout b feature console hist git add git commit added console history git push u live feature console hist. Really got to fix that sometime so I don't have to enter my password every time. It's really annoying on Windows. I don't run into that problem on Linux, but I guess that means I should probably switch back to Linux for streaming. But I digress. So here is our PR with all of our code that we've just put in. So nothing too crazy whatsoever. We're going to be merging into main. So I'm going to go ahead and create the pull request. And override that, squash and merge. Boom. Now it is in the main code base for everybody to access. So cool. That is done. All right. So, with that said, I did say that I was going to kind of keep the stream a little bit shorter tonight, so I guess I just wanted to kind of knock this out and get that feature in and get those previous bugs that we talked about fixed. I suppose one thing that I could do just to kind of round this out to a little bit longer, like maybe an hour, is I can have a look at the issues list because there's quite a few of them in here. So let's go ahead and have a look at that, because maybe there's something in here I can go ahead and fix. Let's see. Potential bug in platform Win32. So we're on Windows right now, so this would be a good time to take a look at that. Let's see. In the function platform console write error. Not mistaken, the number written variable is not used properly. My gut feeling about the Windows API tells me that it probably would need to be something like this. So what is write console A, standard handle. Oh, the address of number written. Really? Okay. Let's have a look, shall we? So, that's going to be write console, write console A. That is a long pointer to a D word. Number of characters written. Yeah, I think you might actually be right about that. Let's do ourselves a favor here and pull up. Whoops. Whoa. Wow. Okay. That is not what I wanted to happen. It had something else copied entirely. So I want this. Thank you very much. Pointer to a variable that receives the number of characters actually written. Ooh, yeah, okay. Wait, this is a long pointer to a D word. Oh. Oh, this should just be... I think what they're saying is it should just be this, which actually... Yeah, because otherwise what the heck is this storing? Technically speaking, this is a little bit of a no-op because we're just throwing this away anyway, so I guess it really doesn't matter. But let's go ahead and test this, because I think you're right about that. So the usage here should really be fixed. All right, so number written is 0, and now the number written is 64. I'm going to guess that that is correct. Let's see. 63 selected plus the null terminator. Yeah, so that is 64. Okay, so that's correct. All right, so that's an easy fix. So that should just be this. And I don't know how I missed that before, but okay. All right, well, that was an easy fix. Get checkout. Bug fix. What was the bug on that? So just to give you guys who are watching an idea of what I'm doing here. So this is the general pattern of bug fixing when you're working on a code base with other people, where other people can report bugs and things. Is you generally will submit bug fixes one at a time. Sometimes if things are grouped, you can kind of group them. But in this case, I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do in this case is I've got a bug for this issue 37. So what I'll do is I will actually create a new branch and called get checkout bug fix /37. So that's just saying what issue I'm actually fixing. Then I'll say get status just to make sure that that is actually on the correct branch and to see what's going to go in here. Then I could say get add dot get commit message resolves. Actually, I'll say fixes number 37. Okay. And then get push you live, and then bug fix 37. Then type my password because Windows is annoying. Why is that so big again? Why? Why are you doing this to me? I thought I created that off of main. Maybe I didn't. Okay, you know what? That's kind of ridiculous. Get checkout live main. Oops. Get checkout main. Get pull live main. Okay. Get checkout bug fix 37. Get merge main. Okay. View live bug fix 37. There we go. Okay. All right, so here is our change. So I'll open a pull request here. And fixes 37, so we can actually see here that's gone ahead and linked to that. So I can go ahead and merge, squash and merge. Really don't need this. I just need that. Right. Confirm, squash, and merge. And then we delete the branch. And that is going to be that bug fixed. So if I actually go into 37 now, we will see closed. Why did it do that? Well, that is because Kohi automation moved it from backlog to done. And it did that because my commit message, let's see, referenced this issue by saying fixes 37. So by saying fixes in 37, that specific verbiage, this actually says, okay, we're going to go ahead and resolve this issue once this gets pushed to main. And so I don't have to come in here and do that manually. So that's one issue. How are we doing on time here? So yeah, let's see if we can tackle another quick one. Bindless texture support is not a quick one, so we're not going to be doing that one. Pressing and releasing both shift keys only results in a single key up event. That's actually not just a Windows issue, that's a multi-platform issue, but it's also an issue with the input system itself, so I don't actually have a fix for that just yet. This one seems like it might be something easy to fix. So line 230 in system font loader C, close if failed, is using the address of data font binary instead of font binary. Let's have a look, shall we? So first thing I'll do is go ahead and git checkout main, git pull live main, annoyingly type my password again, and then we will system font loader, I think you said line 230. So file system read font binary. Binary size. Hey Raz, thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. I'm just basically going through bug fixes now. I was actually gonna be wrapping up here in a couple minutes, but just kind of figured I'd knock out a couple bugs in the meantime. What is it? Hey guys, what is that emote? I've not seen that one before. Or maybe I have and it's just been buried in some sort of chat. Okay. So, the font binary is a void pointer for us to be able to store the binary information within. And then this So for storing it here, and this file system read is taking the out data, fread into that. I don't know if that will. Let's try that. I suspect that might not work. I think we do actually need that there. Oh, you know what? This isn't going to do anything anyways because we actually haven't implemented the KSF file, so I actually can't test this. So I'm going to undo that for right now, because we have to implement this in order to do that, and that is not going to be a quick thing. So this, and cannot test due to write KSF file not yet being implemented. So technically this is what we consider blocked. I'll just put it here, I guess, for right now. Let's see. I wonder if I can just... I guess I can add another label. Do we have... Do we have a label for blocked? I don't think we do. So I'm going to create one. Blocked, because it's blocked by something else we have to do. The color is going to be FF 0000. So we're going to have that be straight up red. Whoops, I should probably put a description in there. Something, some other requirement not being met. Okay. So then we can go back to this and add a blocked label to it. All right, so now we can go back to issues and have a look. I thought that was going to be a quick one, but apparently not. Required validation layer names null pointer in release version. We haven't actually done any release version stuff in quite a long time, so I wonder if release versions... I wonder how foobar release versions actually are going to be. Vulkan backend C, required validation names as null pointer whenever in release version. So when you call DRA destroy, oh, that's actually easy enough to fix though. Right, because we only define it here. So, yeah, we should just do an if check here. That's a good call. We can fix that. So that's validation layer names. Didn't we also do this for... maybe we didn't. I could have swore we also did this for extensions. Required extensions. DRA push, required extensions. That... oh, that's not debug only though. Do we actually clean that up though? I don't think we do. I don't think we cleaned that up, so we probably should. Yeah, I don't see anywhere where we actually clean that up. So actually I thought, doesn't this do some... oh, this really doesn't. We should probably do this automatically within DRA destroy, come to think of it. We should probably do that for safety here. So we should probably say if array, because having to check everywhere every single time is kind of dumb. I guess we could do that for every one of these things, like the field gets. That can add up fast, though. I think I'm just going to do it for destroy right now. Anyway, that should actually fix this. Okay. So let's go ahead and run. Get rid of that because we fixed that already. Whoops. No, we didn't. Did I break something by doing that? I might have. Oh, I think this is actually required later. Yeah, it is. But it doesn't ever actually get cleaned up, which is interesting. All right. So I guess I can come down. I guess probably the best place to do it would be... maybe after the instance creation? Maybe here? Why does it keep putting me at the end of the file? All right, let's build that. Yeah, that seems to be working. So, okay. So we'll do that. So that way that gets cleaned up as well. All right. So I'm just going to do the same thing again. Since we have knocked this out, this is 95. So get status. All right, get checkout. Oh, you know what? Let's do get pull live main. Just to make sure that we're up to date before I create that new branch. We are, okay. Checkout, B, bug fix, at 95. Okay, get add. Let me just make sure this is right. Yep, get commit, fixes, number 95. Get push you live bug fix 95. Annoyingly type in my password again. Really need to look into fixing that on Windows because Windows is freaking annoying about that. So there we go. We've got that. That looks pretty good to me. Squash and merge that. Delete the branch. And now we can see the bug is closed. So that's another one. So at some point, I probably am going to do a stream just dedicated to like closing out more bugs. But today was just kind of a random stream of just kind of fixing random things and finishing up the console entry feature. So with that, the stream went kind of late yesterday. So today I think I'm going to wrap up early and keep this a short stream. So thank you guys for joining along. And if you haven't already, give me a follow. If you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching this on VOD later on Twitch, give me the follows, likes, subscribes, whatever, depending on the platform that you're watching. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment below. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. See ya.